Hey everyone, welcome back to Matthew's Blueprint for Britain. It's going really well. It's been an incredible couple of weeks seeing what you're getting on with, the discussions we're having, and a fantastic guest we're having every single week. And this week's guest is someone who has been on an absolute whirlwind of a ride, effectively a superstar now. It is Syntyche, who goes by Based and Bougie, and absolutely smashing it on social media. Someone who goes to the protests, interviews people, goes to where you want things said, and just asks the questions we want to be said. How are you? How is this is like a superstar moment. How is everything going?
I'm no superstar, honestly, but thank you so much for the compliment. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. There's a lot of hard work because I'm pretty much doing everything myself, filming, editing, thumbnails, social media posts. It is very tiring, but it
Yeah.
is rewarding to see that people are being entertained and also educated at the same time whilst watching my videos. So yeah,
That's
I can't complain. Yeah.
that is a big thing you do. You educate people about these topics that they think they know about, but at the end of the day, they don't. I mean, where can people find your channel, the stuff you're doing? And come on, how many followers are you at now?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so all of my platforms is based in Bougie. On Instagram is _ based in Bougie _ followers. I think I'm on 120,000 now on Instagram. Um, I think 50K on TikTok, and then YouTube maybe
Blimey.
45,000, something like that. Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
get a couple of them to come and like and
I
follow
would
on me.
definitely.
I'm
Well,
still
guys,
stuck on about
subscribe.
7,000 on Twitter. So
Guys, please subscribe. If you're my true
that's
supporter, you will subscribe to my friend's channel.
yeah. I'll send you the check in the post. Thank you. Look, right, let's dive into this week's, and we've got to start it on a very, very sad note. I'm sure everyone will have seen the situation in Australia, in Bondi Beach, a terror attack at a Hanukkah festival of Jewish residents being gunned down by two Muslim men. Everyone says allegedly. I mean, they were two Muslim men. 11 people are so far killed, just checking on the latest updates. It's the deadliest shooting in Australia since 1996. Obviously, Australia did bring in serious gun laws and effectively banned them outright. It is a really, really tragic situation. There are more developments and news going at every single moment. But I mean, what's your initial reaction to not only this terror attack, but on the Jewish festival of Hanukkah as well, a holy day of celebration?
Do you know what? I actually heard about this story as I was on my way to church, and when I saw that there was a terrorist attack, a part of me felt nothing. Like for a split second, I actually felt nothing. I was just like, oh. Then I thought to myself, wait, I'm actually looking at a terrorist attack as if it's another day in the park, as if it's
I
just a
know.
normal day. Like it's become so normalized. If this was me maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago, I would have been disgusted. My heart would have been twisted in my throat. But now it's just like, this has become the norm. And the thing that's heartbreaking as well is that what's it going to take for people to listen? What's it going to take? Do we have to have another 9/11 moment for people to realize that we have a very big ideology problem? I mean, we have people screaming from the top of their lungs, whether it's activists like Tommy Robinson, whether it's yourself and your social media platform and constantly challenging Sadiq Khan. I mean, people are screaming from the top of their lungs that we have an ideology problem, and this problem
Yeah.
it's horrible. I'm so sorry, and it's not compatible with Western life. So I think that's my two reactions. My first reaction is, wow, I actually looked like this and I was okay with it and I saw it as
Yeah.
something normal, and this should never be normal. And two, what's it going to take for our establishment to finally act, to start to make me think that they want this to happen? And funny enough, I actually saw that Carl Benjamin, he was banned from going to Australia because he was a threat to the Australian people. Had they had someone like Carl Benjamin there, maybe giving a speech, maybe it would have woken them up a little bit. But it's just like, I'm starting to think they're doing this intentionally, because you have people like Candace Owens and you have people like Carl Benjamin who just sit behind their TV screens, sorry, their phones, and just talk, are seen as threats. But these Islamists who are unvetted, undocumented, unchecked, just coming out of nowhere, are just allowed to roam throughout these Western countries. What's it going to
I know.
take?
And look, this is not the latest attack on the Jewish population as well. Let's be honest, this is a targeted attack on the Jewish population. We
Yes.
saw the events in Manchester, where the synagogue in Manchester had a car driven into its congregation, and an attacker with a fake suicide vest and knife went out and stabbed a bunch of people there. This is a targeted thing, and it's because week after week on the streets of London, Paris, Berlin, Rome, wherever, we see these Palestine protests going on about the situation in the Middle East. Now, look, I am very sorry about what's going on in the Middle East, but it has nothing to do with me, and it's got nothing to do with those Jewish people who are on the beach in Bondi Beach in Australia just celebrating their religious day. They aren't the ones who are responsible for what's going on in the Middle East. So why on earth is it acceptable for anyone to take the life of somebody else? I mean, I think there is a serious issue right now with anti-Semitism around the world. I have tried to call it out time and time again, but if you dare say anything, you are apparently the problem. I mean, what's your thoughts? How can you and I, as people with a platform where we can maybe lead a little bit of change, do you think anybody's listening?
I mean, this is why I go out specifically to places like Stand Up to Racism, and I counter them and I ask questions, because I think what these people fail to understand is that we're not just inviting people into this country who are just victims and are just looking for a better life. No, we are bringing people from war-torn countries. I mean, their
Yeah,
mentality is messed up. They've seen things that nobody was ever supposed to see in their lifetime, and we've just thrown them into a very Western and modernized civilization, and we think it's going to work. No, a lot of people they are importing into this country have a hatred for the country because for some reason Great Britain is to blame for everything. I don't know what we
of
have to
course.
do,
It's all
or
it's all our fault.
it's our
Even me
fault.
wearing this flag is
I
unacceptable
don't know
right now.
what
I
we
should be
have to
locked
do with
up.
exactly. I don't know what we have to do with this Israel and Palestine war, but apparently now we have to blame for it. And I just think again, this is why I'm always trying to get people to understand that listen, there are people out there who genuinely want to come to the country and have a better life and contribute and integrate like my dad. But in the current climate that we are in right now, we are importing people. We're not importing them from Australia or New Zealand or somewhere
No.
like Thailand. We're importing people from war-torn countries. Their mentality is messed up. They've probably seen their parents' heads, chopped off. So of course
Yeah.
they're not going to sympathize with maybe a school being bombed or someone being, they're just not going to sympathize with this. So uh, these people, especially the stand up to racism mob, they are literally protesting for their own demise.
I know. And it's ironic that you mention what they may have seen with, heads being chopped off or families being murdered. That is exactly the tactics that Hamas deployed at the Nova Music Festival on October the 7th,
Mm-hmm.
burning children and families alive, even cases of children being stuck in ovens and burnt alive, babies,
Oh my God.
women being gang raped and brutally murdered in front of
Mm,
their partners. We obviously know the hostages were taken, and some still their remains years later never reunited with family. But no, apparently they're not the bad guys. Apparently it's all of us trying to raise awareness of what's going on and actually say, look, there can be faults on both sides. It doesn't just have to be one
exactly.
or the other.
Exactly.
But look, I mean, we're not going to solve the Israel Palestine Middle East issue in just this short discussion, and I don't think unfortunately it ever will. But I know for a fact that I hate politicians saying, our thoughts and prayers, but right now we're genuinely, really, really thinking of those who've lost their lives over in Australia, and
Mm,
also all of those who are going to be impacted. I mean, there was a report of a child ending up in hospital as a result of this, just celebrating one of their holy days in their religion. So
it's
to
just
obviously
us.
everyone impacted, to family, friends, and the Jewish community all around the world, don't forget you do have people who stand with you, and we are not going to back down because it's not fair and it's not right and it's not your fault. But look, moving to issues closer to home, because my God, we've got them here in the UK. Obviously, this Labour government is counting down the days till Christmas. I think a lot of people are counting down the days till we can get rid of this Labour government. I mean, we're nearly at New Year's. What's the review for 2025? If you were going to rate it out of 10, would you give them what do the kids do? A 6, 7? No, let's not do that. It's not, no need for those trends. How's it gone with Labour?
It's gone absolutely disastrous. I don't think we've ever seen a part. It's almost like a comedy show. Like
Yeah.
they are purposely trying to make this country work. They're not even hiding it. At least with the Conservatives, they were trying to hide it. The Labour Party, they're not doing it. They've got
Mm,
the most dipsy. They've got the most silly, clueless people. It's literally become a circus with these
it
people.
has.
Whether
I
it's,
keep seeing
just
I keep seeing the AI videos of where they're all dressed as clowns and going in, that sort of thing. It's just a disaster. Whether it's two-tier free gear. Did you know he was son of a toolmaker? Keir, Calamity, Whammy Lammy, No Brainer, Rainer, Ned Miliband, Zero. Just the whole
And
lot of
it's
them.
so heartbreaking because this country, Great Britain, has always been the beacon of just, what do you call it,
Yeah,
sovereignty and democracy. Like, we was once a
yeah,
powerful nation, and to see that we've fallen so hard to this extent, it's heartbreaking. And
yeah.
that we've fallen so hard with just the way Trump treats Keir Starmer. I'm not sure if you
Oh,
saw the clip where they had this. I don't know where they was at. I think it was in Egypt. He was literally talking to Keir Starmer as if he was a little boy. Clueless, all of them, a lot of them absolutely clueless. And what they've done to this country, and the funny thing is that I always say they can enjoy their power and their influence now, but their legacy is finished. It's done. They're
yeah.
never going to be memorized or remembered for doing anything good for the country. They are going to be hated. So yeah, that's my take on it.
The benefit is every time Labour is in power, they put an entire generation off of voting for Labour again. I mean,
Literally.
I don't blame me. I didn't vote Labour. That's all I say to people when people criticise, what's going on. I say, well, don't blame me. It wasn't my choice. Do you think that we're going to end up getting an early Christmas present and having a new Prime Minister and getting rid of Keir Starmer? I mean, Wes Streeting's on manoeuvres. There's rumours Angela Rayner wants to come back. Shabana Mahmood is putting a great fight up. And obviously there's the Andy Burnham of Manchester. I mean, do you think Keir Starmer's ever going to do the honourable thing and resign? Because all I think we've seen is sleaze after sleaze, scandal after scandal from a party that said it would be so much cleaner than the Tories were.
I don't think Keir Starmer is going to resign. I think Keir Starmer is pretty much enjoying the position that he's in. He's
Mm,
enjoying destroying the country. He's enjoying trying to almost like downplay our concerns about this country. And the worst thing is that even if he was to resign, the options after him, whether it's Shabna Mahmood or Angela,
it doesn't get
they're just
better.
10 times. It doesn't get any better. So if anything, I think I would prefer for Keir Starmer to stay than the rest, because there's no way I would want to see David Lammy as Prime Minister. There's absolutely no way.
I mean, that's the thing. When he announced David Lammy as Deputy Prime Minister, I thought, crikey, Keir, please don't get a
We are
cold. If
finished.
you get the coughs and sneezes, I'll see what Whammy's going to do. I mean, oh, it's just been such a year. We all
It's
thought this was going to
caricature.
be 10 years of glorious, improvement for the country, and things could only get better was the song when they moved in. My
Mm.
goodness, things can only get better right now. They're at rock bottom. I think I saw something the other day that Keir Starmer's already less popular than Liz Truss was at the end of her time. So
I don't think.
obviously,
I
go on.
mean, but that's what I mean when I say. I mean, they can enjoy their power and influence right now. But I'm not sure if you remember the clip where David Lammy was doing the speech after the Manchester attack and
Yes, I
everybody
watched
booed
it
him.
live. I was watching that
Yes,
here. Absolutely extraordinary.
that video right there was symbolic of their legacy. I mean, they
Mm.
will always be booed for the rest of their life. They will never be respected, and that's what happens when you sell your own soul and you sell your own country for money and power. That's your
Yeah.
legacy.
They promised everything would be better. They promised change. They said that they had a plan for government, and then they came in,
Yes,
discovered this 22
yes.
billion pound black hole that no one can ever find any evidence of, broke every single promise, and instead we're hurtling towards an authoritarian dictatorship of digital ID, cancelled elections, breaking manifesto promises, and the rest of it. So, I mean,
Bullshit.
this Labour government, 2026, 2027, the next general election can't come soon enough, is what I say on them lot.
Couldn't agree more.
Look, well, as always, we're always in agreement, aren't we? So, the third topic, I always like to give over to the guest and say, what is something that you want to talk about, want to raise awareness of, want to get out there into the spotlight? You've gone for your experience yesterday with Stand Up to Racism. Do you want just to explain to our viewers, what were you doing? Who are Stand Up to Racism for the very, very few people who know who the heck they are? And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so just to quickly define it, Stand Up to Racism, they're an organization and they basically get paid to protest. That's the simple way to put it. They all get paid to protest. They all say the same thing. They all hold the same banners. And yeah, so they basically had a protest yesterday to counter Tommy Robinson's UTK Christmas Carol. Now, when I saw that they were countering a Christmas Carol, I just thought to myself, how low are you willing to go? If you countering even an anti-rape protest wasn't bad enough, you went now countering a carol where people will be singing Mary, Did You Know? It's absolutely ridiculous. But upon me going there, I went to go ask a woman a question. I said, what are you protesting about? And then you had a black man started answering her questions for her, saying, do you support Tamara Robinson? Do you support Tamara Robinson? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, you are a N-word. Literally called me an N-word. Whilst holding the Stand Up to Racism banner, by the way, he thinks that ending racism is going to happen by calling me the N-word. And this is the irony of Stand Up to Racism. They accuse people of the exact same things that they do themselves. They are the real racists, because there's no way you're gonna absolutely just go straight for the insults for simply just. I hadn't even got heated yet. Not only that, they couldn't even tell me what was racist. Their excuse for what was racist was what they said was the Christmas Carol was trying to bring back white supremacy, as in they was trying to make the Christian faith a white supremacist faith. I'm not sure if they've ever read Genesis, but Genesis actually started in the Middle East and Africa. So how on earth would it be a white supremacist?
It might be helpful if they actually read the text. I mean,
exactly.
Firstly, I'm really sorry that you went through that, because we all believe in peaceful protest. We believe that you can have your discourse and agree to disagree. But once again, you're either completely right or you're completely wrong. There's never any compromise. Can I ask, did the police, I mean, I presume there were police there. Did the police do anything? Did anybody seem to care or say to this guy, what the heck are you doing? That's not what we're here for.
Nope, the police didn't seem to do a single thing. They just stood there and watched, which is very ironic, because I know a protester who is currently about to face jail time for calling the far. He called them a slur or something like that, but nothing was happening when I was called the N-word. And I actually spoke to one of the organizers and I said, how do you feel that one of these people called me the N-word? He said, do you support Tommy? I said, yes, I do. He said, he should have called you something worse. So they literally just exposed themselves. Yeah, but this is my thing. This is why I love to go into these places and I love to ask them the questions, because it does not take them long to expose themselves. And I think the more I continue to do this, the more I continue to ask the questions, the more they basically get to reveal their true colors. And I think what their true intentions are with this organization is just to create more division and more divide by making people believe that the far right is trying to attack these people, or the far right is against them. And when you actually go into these far right quote unquote protests, it's all peaceful, it's all love. So it is absolutely insane yesterday.
I have said it time and time again. Stand Up to Racism and Antifa are the ones who actually should be banned. I mean, in America, I think Trump has actually prescribed Antifa. They go purposefully to protest to egg on the other side and to try and cause a reaction. I remember vividly protests that I, had been invited to. People saying, who were the organizers, we know Antifa are going to turn up. We know Stand Up to Racism are going to turn up. Hold it back. Bite your tongue. Do not give them anything at all, because that's exactly what they want. But what I can't understand is the police not applying the law equally. Surely, if someone is racist to you, they should be prosecuted for that. Surely, if they had tweeted something like that, you'd be getting a knock on the door. Why on I mean, do you have any, recordings that perhaps maybe the Met Police might want to see? But also, do you feel like you're safe to go to protest now going forwards?
I feel as though, because I'm someone who's quite fearless, I don't really fear anything. My whole thing, the only thing I really fear is not telling the truth and not exposing it. So if something was to happen to me, I know I did whatever I did for the whole sake of telling the truth, and I did it with honor. But in terms of fearing, the only thing I fear is any of them touching me. I mean, they just look like they have really bad hygiene, all of them. They don't look like they've washed. That's the only thing I'm fearful of, is them touching me.
I just think every time, I mean, the frustration with them as well. I remember Unite the Kingdom, they had that massive rally in London. I went to People's Question Time the week afterwards and asked our wonderful Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, whether he'd apologise, because he called everyone who went to that protest far right. As always, there's the flag, far right, not acceptable. He wouldn't, obviously, but Why do they get it's so easy to just dish out far right, you're racist, you know, Nazis, all these sorts of things. How come they can always play those cards and seemingly we on the other side, you know, far left doesn't really hit the same, does it?
Exactly. I think, first of all, the irony of him saying that everyone who attended that protest, even though the protest was very multicultural, by the way, you know, we saw
I know.
Sikhs there, we saw Muslims there as well. But for him to say that, okay, so if I was to sit here and say all Muslims are terrorists, would you like that, Sadiq Khan? This is what I don't like about the left. If I was to call a transgender man a she or he and got his pronouns wrong, it would be a problem. So why is it okay for them to
Yeah.
label a whole community of people far right simply because they just want to have? I mean, and the irony of this is that every single person in this country and every single culture is allowed to have their day of festivals, whether it's Notting Hill Carnival, whether it's I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I'm saying the correct name, but the Sikh festivals, the Jewish festivals. You know, you will see a lot of Sudanese
Yeah.
people protesting with what's happened in Sudan and people protesting what's happened in Congo. Everyone is allowed to have their own celebration. But it's insane to me. It's I can't even make sense of it. It's insane to me that the native indigenous people are not allowed to celebrate their own culture in their own country. You know, it just goes to show that they
Yeah.
are hiding something. They are trying to mask something, and they're trying to stop something that's good.
And I've said it before, we seem to be celebrating everyone else apart from us. I mean, I
It's
joke about it. I drape myself in the Union Jack. I have flags all over the place. I love this country. Yeah, bad things happened in the past. That's in the
yeah.
past. It's not my fault. I wasn't part of it.
What do you
But
have to do
I'm
with it?
fed up. Absolutely.
What do you
Absolutely.
have
But
to
I'm
do with
fed
it?
up of apologizing for everybody else, bowing down and letting everyone else do whatever they want. I got angry a couple of weeks ago because the Christmas trees, you know, not being called Christmas trees anymore, they're just,
Mm.
you know, festive trees or evergreen trees.
Winter
Every single
trees.
bit of it. Absolutely.
Mm.
I have an entire wardrobe of Union
Mhm.
Jack shirts and Union Jack flags. I'm telling
Mm.
you now, one day the police are going to knock on the door and raid me because that will be made illegal if things carry on this way.
But I think the reason why they're doing that is because the Union Jack and the England flag holds the most important symbol in the world, which is the cross, the sign of the cross, the sign of Jesus Christ. And we all know
Yeah.
Jesus Christ's name, you know, makes demons tremble. So every time the Union Jack is, you know, waved, every single time we have these protests, we have these marches, even when I just go out to question them, you can see the demon in them already trembling. And that's why you see them getting so angry and calling people the N word and even throwing piss. And one of the
Oh,
protesters actually told me
ridiculous.
yesterday that the girl who had piss thrown on her, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, this happened during the Pink Ladies protest. Can you imagine?
Unbelievable.
Women are protesting for their young girls to stop being raped and someone threw piss at them. And then what
That's
they
unacceptable.
informed me was that the girl who had piss thrown on her was paid £100 to stay silent by the police. Can you believe
What?
this? She was paid £100 to stay silent. But let someone
That's
from the quote unquote right do this, we wouldn't have stopped hearing about this until 2045. Literally.
that is unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Unacceptable. And it just shows that it is two tier in this country. One
Mm.
rule for them, another rule for the rest of us. I mean, look, I just I despair at the state of this country. I just hope people like you and me and others
Mm.
are listened to, wake people in this country up. When elections come around, get out and vote this corrupt government out so that we can
Mm.
actually start restoring pride in this country. We are a great country. Well, we're not great at the moment, is what I'd say. Look, Syntyche, I'm so grateful. Thank you for being an incredible guest, for exposing what the heck is going on. Remind everyone where they can find you, where they can get involved, like, subscribe, and all of the other things you've got to do.
Yeah. So you can find me based and Bougie. Bougie is spelled Bougie. So based and Bougie on X, based and Bougie on YouTube, and on Instagram is underscore based and Bougie underscore.
Fantastic. And look, you've got to follow her. She is doing incredible stuff, exposing the far left and everything else. I mean, even getting exclusives like the Pink Ladies having bottles of piss chucked over them and then being paid to stay silent. I mean, that is
Absolutely
just
disgusting.
unacceptable. Look,
Mm.
I'm so grateful. I know that we're going to carry on the discussion. We're no doubt going to end up I'll probably do a podcast in person one day. I think would be a good
I would
idea.
love that.
But
I would love that.
I and if I don't see you beforehand, have a very Merry Christmas, because
You
that's
too.
what it is. Have a
Mhm.
wonderful new year. And I hope that 2026 is the year where we finally see this Labour lot got rid of, the far left got rid of, and maybe we could have, Prime Minister Syntyche or something like that.
Thank you so much. Have a very Merry
No
Christmas.
worries. Look, everyone, get involved in the conversation. Like, subscribe, comment, share, do all your stuff. Tell us what your thoughts are. Expose what is going on. Don't stay silent. Say it as it is, because we have platforms like this to give you a voice. The silent majority in this country is rising up, and we have got to make sure we are ready to take control of our country again. Wear your Union Jacks. Be proud. Subscribe. Do all the stuff. And have a wonderful New Year and a Merry Christmas as well if I don't speak to you beforehand. Cheers.